Fire fell from the sky like raining stars as the alien city burned. Explosions shook the streets. Metal towers collapsed one after another. Smoke covered the air so thick that even strong soldiers could not see more than a few steps ahead. Alarms screamed everywhere. People ran, cried, pushed, and fought to escape. No one cared about anything except saving their own life. But in the middle of all this chaos, under a broken pile of burning metal, a small alien girl lay trapped. Her silver skin was covered in dust. Her hair stuck to her face. She tried to call for help, but her voice was only a weak whisper. No one stopped to look. To her own people, she was worthless. Too small. Too weak. Too strange. A mistake of birth. Someone not needed. She coughed as smoke entered her lungs. She tried to move her leg, but sharp metal cut into her side. Tears rolled down her cheeks. She whispered again, "Help. Someone, help." But her voice disappeared in the loud explosions far away. A human soldier named Evan Hawley moved through the burning streets with heavy steps. His armor was marked with scratches and heat damage. His breathing was slow and controlled. His team had already evacuated, but he stayed behind to check if anyone was alive. Humans never left the weak behind. That was something everyone in the galaxy knew about Earth, and also feared. Evan heard a faint sound, a tiny cry, almost impossible to notice in the noise of the burning city. He stopped. His helmet sensors scanned the area. Nothing showed on the screen. The sound came again. A small, broken voice. He followed the sound, moving past flames and falling metal. More explosions erupted behind him, but he did not turn back. His boots stepped over cracked ground as he approached the wreck of a crashed alien transport ship. Smoke rose in thick waves from it. Again, the weak voice echoed. "Please, help." Evan rushed forward. He pulled away heavy pieces of metal one by one, even as the metal burned his gloves. The heat scorched his suit, but he kept going. Humans had a strange stubbornness when it came to saving others. Some called it bravery. Some called it madness. At last, he saw her. A small alien girl curled into a ball under a broken beam. Her eyes were big, glowing softly in fear. She looked only 8 or 9 years old in human age. Her silver skin was bruised. Her small hands trembled. When she saw him, she gasped. "A human?" "Yes," Evan answered in a calm voice. "I'm here to help you." Her eyes widened. Nobody from her own people had stopped to help. They believed she was nothing. Yet this human, a stranger, reached out his hand. He lifted the burning beam and pulled her out. She cried in pain, but Evan held her close so the falling debris wouldn't hit her. His suit alarms beeped loudly. Danger, danger. Dangerous heat levels. He ignored them, but then a deep shadow passed over the burning ground. Evan looked up. Huge alien warships moved above the city through the smoke. Their weapons glowed red. They were not saving survivors, they were hunting them. These were the ships of the clan that wanted the girl dead. Evan did not know this yet, but he felt something was wrong. He held the girl tighter. "We need to move." She shook her head weakly. "No, they will kill me." "You're safe with me," he said firmly. The girl looked at him in shock. No one had ever said such words to her. The ground exploded behind them as enemy drones landed. Their red sensors scanned the area. Evan ran with the girl in his arms, jumping over burning rubble. More drones appeared, spreading across the street like metal spiders. The girl buried her face against his chest. "They are coming," she whispered with fear. "Yes," Evan said. "But I won't let them take you." His suit's shield flickered as bright shots from the drones hit him. He slid behind a broken wall and put the girl down carefully. "Stay here," he told her, her eyes filled with tears. "You will leave me." "Everyone leaves me." Evan froze for a second. He knelt beside her and spoke softly but clearly. "Listen. I won't leave you. Not now, not ever. You understand? Her small hands shook as she nodded. The drones closed in. Evan grabbed his rifle and stepped out from behind the wall. Flames reflected on his armor as he fired back at the machines. The girl watched him fight alone against the metal swarm. No one had ever fought for her before. No one had ever risked their life for her, but this human did, and that choice, that one human act, would soon shake the entire galaxy. The smoke around the ruined street slowly cleared, but Evan did not lower his rifle. His armor glowed with heat, and small sparks jumped from the metal. The alien drones he destroyed lay scattered like broken insects. But he knew more would come. The fire, the noise, the destruction, it all felt wrong. As if someone wanted this whole city erased. Behind him, the small alien girl sat shaking, hugging her knees. Her big glowing eyes watched him with fear and confusion. No one had ever protected her before. No one had ever even looked at her with kindness. She waited for him to leave her, because that was what everyone else always did. But Evan walked back to her slowly, his voice calm despite the danger. We need to move. They'll return soon. The girl looked around nervously. They always return. They won't stop until I am gone. Evan frowned. Why would they target a child? The girl hugged herself tighter. Because I am not a normal child. Her voice broke as she said it. Evan knelt in front of her so he could see her face. Her silver skin shimmered faintly in the firelight, and her eyes held a sadness no child should ever carry. What's your name? Evan asked gently. She hesitated. Leary. All right, Leary, he said softly. I am Evan, and right now you're safe with me. Leary's lips trembled as if she wanted to believe his words, but didn't know how. Evan checked the sky. The huge alien warships were turning back. Their engines glowed in angry red circles. They were scanning the ruins again. He could almost feel their search beams sweeping across the ground, hungry to find her. Why are they hunting you? Evan asked while lifting Leary into his arms. She pressed her forehead against his armor. Because of what I am, and what is that? He said, looking around for a safe path. Leary shook her head quickly. I don't know everything. I only know. They fear me. And they hate me. She swallowed hard. And they want me dead more than anything. Evan's heart tightened. A whole army. Hunting one child? The city was still burning as Evan made his way through the ruins. Every sound felt dangerous. The crack of metal, the hiss of a broken pipe, the distant hum of scanners searching. He stayed low, moving from shadow to shadow. Leary suddenly clutched his shoulder. Evan, I feel something. They are close. Her voice trembled, but her eyes glowed a little brighter. Evan didn't know why, but he trusted her warning immediately. He ducked behind a fallen wall just as 3 enemy scouts glided above them, their long sensor beams slicing through the smoke. Evan covered Leary's head with his hand. She held her breath. The scouts hovered for several seconds, then moved on. Only when their sound faded did Evan finally stand up again. We can't stay down here, he said. Is there any safe place nearby? Leary hesitated again. There's an old bunker under the city. My mother once tried to take me there. But we never reached it. Why not? Evan asked. Because soldiers took her away when they found she was hiding me. Evan felt a cold anger rise in his chest. Whoever wanted this child dead was not just cruel, they were terrified of her. He followed the old cracked road Leary pointed at. With every step, she grew more afraid. She whispered small warnings. Don't go near that alley. They hide drones there. Stay away from the open road. They watch it. Go left here. I hear footsteps that way. It was as if she could sense danger before it came. Evan wondered again. Who exactly was this girl? They reached a half-collapsed underground entrance. Evan kicked away debris until he found the metal handle. He pulled the door open with effort and carried Leary inside. The air was cool, silent, heavy. The bunker was old, very old. Strange symbols glowed on the walls. Machines hummed faintly under dust. Leary stared at the walls with wide eyes. I remember something. My mother once said, "This place was built for someone special. Someone important." She touched the glowing symbols with her small fingers. She said it was built for me. Evan stared at her. "Why you?" Leary closed her eyes. "Because of my blood. They say my blood carries a secret. Something powerful. Something they fear." Her voice grew small. "But I do not know what that secret is." Suddenly, the bunker door behind them shook violently. Dust fell from the ceiling. Enemy drones had found them, Leary gasped. "Evan, they're here." Evan lifted his weapon and stepped in front of her. "Then they're about to learn," he said, "that humans don't fear anything." And the door began to crack. The metal bunker door shook again, harder this time. Bolts snapped. Dust rained from the ceiling. Leary covered her ears. Her small body trembled. Evan stepped forward slowly, placing himself fully between her and the cracking door. His rifle was steady, his eyes calm. "Leary," he said softly without turning around, "stay behind me. No matter what happens." Her voice was barely a whisper. "They will kill us." Evan smirked slightly, almost like a joke in the middle of fear. "Not today." The door finally burst open. 3 alien drones crawled inside. Like metal beasts, their red sensors glowing like burning eyes. Their sharp legs clicked loudly on the steel floor. They scanned the bunker, searching for one target: Liri. The girl gasped and hid behind a machine. Pillar. Evan fired first. His rifle shots echoed in the small bunker. Sparks exploded from the nearest drone as it fell, but 2 more rushed forward, moving fast and silent like predators. Evan dodged a laser bolt and fired again. One drone lost its leg and spun wildly. But the final drone leaped at him with its claws open. Leary screamed. The drone claw struck Evan's armor, knocking him to the ground. His rifle dropped from his hands. The metal machine pinned him down with heavy force. Leary stepped forward in fear, but something strange happened. Her eyes glowed brighter. So bright that even the smoke around her lit up. The drone froze. Its claws stopped inches from Evan's throat. Its sensors flickered. Its metal body trembled. Then it slowly turned its head toward Leary, almost like it recognized her. Evan pushed the frozen drone aside and stood up quickly. He grabbed his rifle, ready to shoot, but the drone remained motionless. Leary backed away, scared of herself. I didn't mean to." Evan watched in shock. "What did you do?" "I don't know," she whispered, shaking. "But sometimes machines." "Listen to me. I don't understand why." The bunker lights suddenly flickered. The walls' glowing symbols brightened. The old machines around them hummed loudly, as if waking from a long sleep. Leary stepped backward. No, this is happening again." Evan knelt to her level. "Tell me, what's happening?" She closed her eyes, trying to control her shaking voice. "My blood carries something ancient. A signal. A code. My people say it is forbidden. Dangerous. Cursed." Tears filled her eyes. "But I never wanted it." "You didn't choose this," Evan said firmly. She nodded slowly. "They call me a key-bearer." She spoke the final word with fear. "It means machines hear me. Old technology. Old weapons. Things no one understands anymore." Evan stared at the glowing machinery around them. Some of the devices were older than any empire. Older than any record. Yet when Leary entered, they reacted like loyal guards waiting for their queen. "Is this why they want you dead?" Evan asked. Yes. She wiped her tears with her small hand. If someone controls me, they control the machines. They control whole armies, whole star systems. They could rule the galaxy. Evan exhaled slowly. And if they can't control you, they kill me, she finished. The frozen drone suddenly fell and shut down completely, its lights fading. Leary looked at it with a mix of fear and sadness. I didn't mean to stop it, she whispered. I just panicked. Evan put his hand on her shoulder gently. You saved my life. She looked at him with confused eyes. No one had ever said something kind about her power. Usually, people ran, or screamed, or tried to capture her. Evan didn't do any of that. He simply looked at her like she was a normal child. The bunker suddenly shook again, but this time, it wasn't from outside. The old machines around them turned on fully. Blue light circled the walls. Hidden panels slid open, revealing metal shapes inside. Old drones, old weapons, old technology. They were ancient but powerful, and they were awakening. Lir, I backed away, terrified. No, I don't want them to wake. I don't want to start anything. Evan held her steady. Leary, look at me. Her glowing eyes shifted to him. You're not starting anything. You didn't ask for this. But whatever you are, whatever this power is, I'm not afraid of it. He pointed to the awakened machines. And I won't let anyone use you. Leary swallowed hard. You're not scared of me? Evan shook his head. Not even a little. The bunker machines hummed louder, almost like they were listening. But then, loud alarm beeped on Evan's wrist. Console. He looked at it quickly and went pale. Enemy. Troops were gathering outside. Dozens. Maybe. Hundreds. They finally found the bunker. Evan picked up his rifle and lifted Leary into his arms. Hold on, he said. Where are we going? She whispered. To survive, Evan replied. And to find out why the whole galaxy is terrified of you. And the bunker lights flashed red. The army was coming. The ground above the bunker shook as enemy soldiers landed in heavy numbers. Their footsteps and metal boots echoed like thunder. Evan held Leary close and moved deeper into the bunker's dark tunnel. He could hear distant voices from vents overhead, shouts, commands, scanner beeps, metal scraping. They were searching for one child. Lir, I got the girl clung to Evan's armor, trembling. They came so fast. They always come so fast. Evan kept moving, despite the shaking ceiling. Not fast enough. We're still ahead of them. But for how long? She whispered. He didn't answer. The truth was, he didn't know. The tunnel opened into a massive underground chamber. Evan's breath caught for a moment. The chamber was huge, like an ancient hangar. Broken structures and giant machines rested inside, covered in dust and shadows. It felt like a sleeping graveyard of forgotten technology. Leary's eyes widened. I feel them. They are old. Very old. Evan scanned the machines. Some were rusted. Some had sharp arms. Some looked like giant metal beasts that once ruled battlefields, long before any modern empire existed, and all of them seemed to be waiting. For her. The air vibrated suddenly. Evan turned sharply. A giant holographic screen flickered on above them. News broadcasts from across the galaxy appeared, some shaky, some panicked, some shocked. Alien faces of every kind shouted and argued. The screen displayed one breaking headline over and over: Human soldier rescues the key-bearer child. Another headline flashed: Key-bearer still alive, all empires on emergency alert. Another one: The human has her, galaxies demand explanation. Leary stepped back as her picture appeared on the screen. A younger version of her, from when she was taken from her mother. Small, scared, glowing. I didn't know they spread my image, she whispered. They spread fear, Evan corrected. Fear of what you can do. The broadcast continued. Now alien leaders appeared, angry, frightened, yelling for action. Some demanded Earth return the girl immediately. Others demanded she be destroyed. Others argued she was too dangerous to live or too dangerous to lose. But then another headline appeared. 5 empires mobilizing fleets, all ships heading toward the burning city. Evan cursed under his breath. They weren't just coming. They were coming in full power. Leary hugged herself tightly. 5 empires. All for me. I don't want this. I never wanted this. Evan placed a hand on her shoulder. This isn't your fault. Her voice was weak. Everything is because of me. Before Evan could reply, the bunker lights turned red. A robotic voice echoed. Unauthorized forces approaching chamber entrance. Boots pounded above them. Laser cutters hummed. Soldiers were trying to cut through the tunnel door. Evan looked around quickly. Is there another exit? Leary pointed to the far side of the chamber. There, but it's sealed. Very old. Old is fine, Evan said. Let's try it. They ran across the dusty floor as the sound of cutting lasers grew louder behind them. The old exit door was tall and carved with ancient symbols. Leary placed her small hand on it. The symbols glowed blue. The entire door slid open automatically. Evan stared in disbelief. It listens to you. She nodded weakly. Everything ancient does. A sudden explosion behind them made both turn. The main tunnel door blew open as enemy soldiers rushed in, shining lights and raising weapons. Their armor carried symbols of different clans, meaning multiple empires had forces here. Already. One spotted Leary and shouted, "The keybearer! Catch her alive!" Evan pulled Leary through the open door. Go! The old door closed behind them a second before lasers hit it. The new tunnel beyond was narrow and dark. Small crystals on the walls glowed softly, lighting their path. Leary breathed heavily as they ran. They aren't stopping, she said. They won't, Evan answered. Not until every empire knows what happened here. As they ran deeper, the ground trembled again. But this time, it wasn't from soldiers. It felt larger. Older, like the earth itself was waking. Lights flickered. Machines hidden in the walls shifted. Ancient gears rumbled like giant beasts waking from sleep. Leary grabbed Evan's arm. They're responding to my presence again. Evan slowed. What's happening? She swallowed hard. Our being here. It sends a signal. They sense me. Suddenly, another holographic screen lit up inside the tunnel, this one showing live footage from outside the city. Massive fleets entered the sky. Thousands of warships. They blocked the sun. One alien commander shouted on the broadcast, Earth refuses to surrender the keybearer. Prepare for full planetary pressure. Another screamed, if humans protect her, then we declare them an enemy to all empires. Leary's eyes filled with tears. Because of me. They will fight Earth. Evan lifted her chin gently so she would look at him. They'll fight Earth only if they misunderstand one thing. Leary blinked. What thing? Evan's voice was calm but strong. That humans will die for someone they choose to protect. And I chose you. Her heart froze. No one had ever chosen her for anything. Evan tightened his grip on his rifle. Let them come. Let them send fleets. Let them shout. He started walking again, carrying her as the tunnel lights glowed brighter around them. They have no idea, he said, what humans are truly capable of. Behind them, distant alarms blared. Every empire was now moving, and Earth was about to become the center of the galaxies. Greatest storm. The escape tunnel ended in a forgotten underground lift shaft. Evan forced open the old metal doors and found a narrow service platform inside. The lift machinery was dead, covered in dust and spider-like plant roots. But the tunnel above glowed faintly, leading toward the surface. "We go up," Evan said. Leary stared upward nervously. "Is it safe?" "No," Evan answered honestly, "but it's the only way." He lifted her onto his back and began climbing the metal ladder. The metal rattled under his weight. Dust fell into his face. Leary held tightly to his armor, trembling every time the shaft shook from explosions above. Halfway up, the lights flickered. The ancient walls hummed again. Responding to her presence, Leary whispered, "They feel me. Even here." Evan kept climbing. "Let them feel you. It doesn't change what we do next." His calm voice helped her breathe again. At last, they reached a hatch. Evan pushed it open, slowly. Bright daylight flooded the shaft. But the sky above was wrong. Very wrong. Huge alien fleets filled the sky. Their silhouettes blocked the sun. Their engines sounded like angry storms. Red light glowed across their weapons as they circled the burning city, like predators waiting for a signal. Evan pulled Leary out of the shaft and crouched behind rubble. He scanned the horizon. Not far away was a damaged human outpost, small, broken, but still standing. A few human soldiers defended it with scorched armor and tired faces. "Humans," Leary whispered. "Will they also fear me?" Evan shook his head. "Humans don't fear children. Humans protect children." She lowered her eyes. "Even strange children like me. Especially children like you," he said. They moved quickly across the ruins, keeping low as enemy scouts patrolled overhead. A drone spotted them from a distance and shrieked out a warning signal. Laser fire rained down. Evan grabbed Leary and sprinted toward the outpost as fast as his legs allowed. Shots exploded behind him, shaking the ground. Dirt and smoke flew around them. But he didn't stop, not even for a second. A human soldier spotted them and shouted, "Evan, over here!" Two soldiers ran out, firing at the incoming drones. Evan dived behind the outpost barrier with Leary in his arms. The soldiers pulled a metal shield over the opening and sealed it. Inside, the small human team stared at Leary with wide eyes. She hid behind Evan, the lieutenant. A tall woman with dust-covered armor stepped forward. "Is that the child the whole galaxy is screaming about?" Evan nodded. "Her name is Leary." The soldiers exchanged looks of fear, not fear of her, but fear of the armies hunting her. The lieutenant sighed. "Evan, you realize what you've done, right? 5 empires are coming. All because you saved her." Evan placed Leary gently on the ground and stood up. She was alone. She was scared. And she's a child. "I don't care who wants her dead." There was a long silence. Then the lieutenant looked at Leary, really looked at her, and her expression softened. "Kid," she said quietly, "you're safe here." Leary blinked in disbelief. Even with all the danger?" The lieutenant gave a half-smile. "Danger doesn't scare humans. Losing someone innocent does." The outpost's alarm suddenly blared. A soldier at the scanner screen shouted, "Enemy troops inbound. They're surrounding the outpost." The lieutenant snapped into command mode instantly. "Everyone to defense positions. Protect the child." Evan stepped forward. "I'll hold the front line." The lieutenant nodded. "I know, humans don't retreat." Leary grabbed his hand. "Evan, you can leave me here. I don't want you to get hurt because of me." He knelt in front of her, eyes steady and warm. "Leary, listen carefully." Her glowing eyes trembled. Humans outside shouted as enemy troops advanced. The ground shook as heavy landing ships touched down. The sky screamed with engine stat, but Evan smiled softly. "I am not protecting you because you have power," he said. "I'm protecting you because you needed someone." Leary's heart hitched. No one had ever said that to her. He gently placed her small hand on his armor. "And I won't walk away now. Not when you finally have someone on your side." His words felt heavier than the bombs outside. They settled deep in her chest, warm, painful, hopeful all at once. The lieutenant yelled from the barricade, "Evan!" "They're in position." Evan stood tall and loaded his rifle. "Time to show them what humans do." Leary grabbed his wrist. "Evan, if they hurt you, I'll—" He shook his head. "You don't hurt anyone. You just stay behind us. We'll handle the rest." He stepped out with the human team. The outpost doors slid shut behind him. In front of them, dozens of alien soldiers marched toward the outpost with glowing weapons, confident, arrogant, certain of victory. A commander shouted through a speaker, "Surrender the key-bearer child, human. You cannot stand against us." Evan stepped forward. His voice cut through the air like steel. "If you want her, you'll have to walk over Earth's dead." Silence spread across the battlefield. Even the aliens hesitated, because humans did not bluff. And behind Evan, tiny Leary watched him through a crack in the metal wall, tears glowing in her eyes. For the first time in her life, someone was fighting for her, and the galaxy had no idea what this small girl and one stubborn human were about to change forever. The battlefield was silent for a single heartbeat. Wind blew the ashes across the ruins. The alien army stood in a wide circle around the human outpost, weapons raised, confident that this would be an easy victory. Above them, the warships of 5 empires hovered like giant metal predators, ready to strike. Inside the outpost, Leary pressed both hands against the wall, her heart pounding. She felt fear, but something else too. Something deep inside her blood was moving again, waking up. Outside, the aliens prepared to attack. Their commander shouted, "Final warning! Give us the key-bearer child." Evan stood at the front line with 10 human soldiers. Dust covered their armor. Their guns were glowing from heat. They were tired, outnumbered, surrounded, but none of them stepped back. Evan raised his rifle slowly. "Final answer, no." The alien commander hissed angrily and lifted his hand. "Fire!" The world exploded. Energy blasts rained on the outpost. Human shields shook under the impact. The ground cracked. Evan fired back, hitting the closest enemy trooper. The other humans followed, sending powerful bursts through the smoke. Inside, Leary screamed as the first explosion hit. The outpost trembled violently, and she fell to her knees. Her glowing eyes blurred as she felt Evan's fear and his determination. I can feel them hurting him," she whispered. Her small fingers dug into the cold metal floor. Something in her chest pulsed, strange, bright, ancient. More explosions landed outside, throwing Evan back. He slid across the dirt, but got up immediately. His armor sparked, but he kept firing. A soldier next to him was hit and fell. Another caught him and dragged him behind cover. The humans fought fiercely, refusing to let anyone reach the outpost. But the enemy army kept advancing. Leary stood, shaking with terror. Tears rolled down her silver cheeks. "No. No more. Stop hurting them." She pressed her hands to her chest, trying to hold back the strange energy rising inside her. But she failed. A sharp, painful pulse shot through her body. And something responded. Deep underground. A deep echo shook everything. Dust fell from the outpost ceiling. Boom. The ancient machines buried beneath the city answered her call. Evan stopped firing for a second. The ground vibrated under his boots. What was that? Human soldiers looked around nervously. Even the alien troops paused. The alien commander shouted, "Ignore it. Advance." But the vibrations grew stronger. The earth cracked behind the alien army. Huge pieces of ground lifted. Smoke burst upward as something massive moved below. Evan whispered, "Leary, what did you do?" Inside the outpost, Leary whispered back through tears, "I didn't call them. They heard my fear. A deafening sound split the battlefield. A giant metal hand burst from the ground. Alien soldiers screamed. The earth opened wider as a giant, ancient war machine climbed out. Its armor was covered in glowing symbols. Its blue core pulsed with light, the same color as Leary's eyes. Then another metal giant rose, and another, and another. Huge shadows stood behind the alien army, towering over everything. As tall as ruins, as strong as mountains. The alien commander stepped back in horror. What are those? Evan slowly lowered his gun, his eyes wide. Ancient guardians, he murmured. She woke them. The machines turned their heads toward the outpost, toward Leary's heartbeat, and then toward the aliens threatening her. They raised their arms. The ancient symbols on their metal bodies glowed brighter and brighter, until a beam of pure blue energy shot out and ripped across the battlefield. Alien ships exploded in the sky. Ground troops were thrown back like dust in the wind. Entire armored vehicles lifted off the ground and shattered into pieces. The enemy army broke instantly. Retreat! Retreat! Soldiers screamed, but the machines did not stop. They walked forward in slow, heavy steps, every footstep shaking the earth. The sky turned bright blue from their energy beams. Inside the outpost, Leary fell to the floor again, overwhelmed by the connection. I didn't want this. I didn't want anyone to die. Evan ran inside as soon as the first wave ended. He dropped to his knees beside her. Leary, look at me. She looked up, tears glowing. I didn't call them. They acted by themselves. They want to protect me, even if I don't want to fight. Evan took her shaking hands. Listen to me. This is not your fault. You didn't choose your power. She sobbed. I didn't choose any of this. Another explosion shook the outpost as alien fleets tried to strike the machines. But every attack failed. The machines simply turned their heads and fired again, tearing ships apart like paper. Evan looked through the window at the destruction. His voice was low. The whole galaxy is watching this right now. And they're terrified. Leary leaned into him, crying softly. Evan, what will happen now? He looked at the massive machines slowly turning toward the outpost, toward her, waiting for her orders. Now, he whispered, the empires must decide if they kneel or disappear. And the ancient guardian stood tall behind him, ready to shake the galaxy again. The battlefield had changed. Where moments ago alien armies stood proudly with raised weapons, now there was only silence, broken armor, wrecked vehicles, and scared soldiers stumbling backward from the towering ancient machines. Smoke drifted slowly across the ruins like a dying storm. Evan stepped out of the outpost with Leary leaning against him. The heat of battle still clung to the air. The ground was cracked. Lights flickered in broken lampposts. But the giant machines, the guardians awakened by Leary's power, stood tall and unmoving, waiting like patient giants. Their glowing blue eyes followed only one person, Liri. Her small hands shook. Her silver skin glowed softly. She was afraid of what her power had done, afraid of what she might become. Evan knelt beside her. Breathe, Leary, slow. You're safe, she sobbed quietly. Safe, Evan. I destroyed them. I didn't want to hurt anyone. You didn't destroy them, he said softly. Your guardians did, and they did it to protect you. She wiped her tears with trembling fingers. Because I am the key bearer, Evan nodded. Yes, but remember, being the key bearer doesn't make you a weapon. It makes you someone worth protecting. Her glowing eyes lifted toward him. Is that why you stayed with me? Evan smiled gently. It's exactly why. A loud boom rolled across the sky. Evan turned sharply. Above them, the fleets of 5 alien empires began to descend. Their largest warships lowered slowly, darkening the sky. Their bright thrusters illuminated the ruins like burning suns. Thousands of soldiers prepared to land. Leary held Evan's arm tightly. They're coming for me again. Not this time, Evan said. The first enemy fleet landed in formation. Their commander, a tall alien with sharp armor, stepped forward. His face was pale. His voice shook with a mix of anger and fear. Human. You have unleashed something ancient and forbidden. The girl must be surrendered at once. Evan stood tall, placing himself slightly in front of Leary. She's under Earth's protection. A deep silence fell. Soldiers from many species stared between the human and the child who had awakened machines, capable of destroying starships with a single beam. Another alien leader shouted, "Earth cannot hold such power alone. She is too dangerous." The first commander added, "If Earth claims her, then Earth becomes the greatest threat in the galaxy." Evan took a slow step forward. His voice was calm but strong, stronger than any weapon. Earth didn't claim her. Earth protected her, because she is a child, because she was alone, and because none of you cared. Murmurs spread through the alien soldiers. Leary lowered her head, tears returning. Evan gently squeezed her hand. "She is not a weapon," Evan continued. "She is a person, and humans don't abandon people." The alien commanders looked at the giant machines behind Evan, each taller than buildings, glowing with ancient power. For the first time, they understood something terrifying. Those machines did not follow the 5 empires. They followed Earth's protection of the key-bearer. One commander pointed nervously. "If she commands those giants, then she commands the fate of every empire." Evan shook his head. "She commands nothing. She never wanted this power." Leary whispered softly, "I don't want anyone to kneel. I just want to be safe." The alien stared at her, a trembling child who could crush them all without lifting a finger. The oldest alien leader stepped forward, voice trembling with age and fear. "Then, what do you want from us, human?" Evan looked around the shattered battlefield. Smoke, ash, fear. His voice stayed steady. "Leave Earth alone. Leave the girl alone. Respect the protection she has been given. And if we refuse?" The alien asked. The ground vibrat edu. Slowly. The ancient machines behind Leary raised their heads. Their eyes glowed brighter. Their arms shifted into battle stance. The air hummed dangerously. The sky turned blue from their energy. It was a warning. Evan didn't have to say anything. The alien commander stepped back quickly. His voice cracked. We understand." Another leader shouted, "All fleets, stand down." Warships powered off their weapons. Engines dimmed. Soldiers lowered their guns. Then, for the first time in history, the 5 empires faced a single human soldier, and bowed their heads, not to fear the machines, not to fear Earth, but out of respect for the child a human protected. Leary watched in shock. "Evan, they're kneeling." "Not to you," Evan whispered. "To what you represent, hope, protection, a power that chooses kindness instead of destruction." Tears filled her eyes again, not from fear this time, but from something softer. Evan knelt beside her. "Leary, no matter what they call you, you're not worthless. You're not alone. You're not a curse." He gently touched her shoulder. "You're family now." A soft glowing light spread from Leary's eyes. For the first time she smiled. Around them, empires lowered their banners. Ancient machines bowed their heads. And Earth, a small, stubborn planet, became the new center of the galaxy. All because one human chose to save a girl everyone else left behind.